everybody. I'm Rebecca from Thieving Otter Farm,
And I'm Leah with Southern Biophiliac Urban Farm.
and we are two chicks Caturnix bringing you the scoop
Not the poop.
on Caturnix quail. Last week we had Mason who got to do the not the poop, and this week we have Chuck Branum joining us. And I'm so glad, Leah, that you are back. I missed you so much.
Yes, last week was really rough, but I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, you had a double whammy. You were sick and you were preparing for you know, heck freezing
The
over
Arctic
down there.
blast. Yes.
So we have our friend Chuck with us tonight. Chuck, do you want to introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about your farm.
Sure. My name's Chuck Branum. I own Conecuh Creek Quail, and we're located in Brantley, Alabama. And I've been in business for about a year almost now. And we do Coturnix and bobwhite, snowflakes, northern bobwhites, some wild type game birds. So
Very cool.
Awesome.
So, with Chuck being fairly new to the quail world, the business side of things and stuff, we thought it would be kind of fun to talk about being a newbie and some of the mistakes that we've made along the way, some of the hard lessons that we've learned, and some other things along those lines, and kind of talk about some of the things that Chuck has recently experienced.
which is a lot.
So yeah,
We go through, yeah, it's a lot in
it's
that first year. It's a lot.
such a learning curve. Chuck, what got you into quail?
Well, I started it really kind of as a kind of self-sustainment, be more self-sustainable,
Hmm.
and the price of eggs got high, and uh, I just stumbled across something on Facebook one day, and I was, that might be fun to do, and started studying and kind of immersing myself into quail and trying to learn everything I could, and uh, it started out just kind of for me as a hobby, and I enjoyed it. Kind of it relaxed me, and it kind of put me in a good place mentally. Um, and then it turned into neighbors finding out, hey, let me get some eating eggs, and I started down that road for several months, and figured out that doing the farm shows and all the trade stuff was a lot more traveling and being gone on the weekends that I really wanted to do. So I kind of pivoted myself into the hatching egg business and the breeder business, and that's where I'm kind of staying right now for right now, anyways.
Awesome.
That's great.
So, what would you say was your first hard lesson?
My first, probably the hardest lesson was the first batch of eggs. It's probably twofold. I picked up my first incubator when I said, "All right, I'm ready," and it was a Farm Innovators, marketplace $30 special, and
Yeah.
missing the plugs, missing everything. The turner wasn't working, so I ordered a new turner and uh,
Wait,
got my
you had a Turner? My
yeah.
first farm innovators, or my farm innovators, didn't even have a Turner. I hand
I
turned
didn't even
everything.
know there was such a thing until I went in there, and I was like, "What's that?" And then I realized it wasn't working right, or maybe it was working right. I thought it was supposed to move a lot faster, but I couldn't see it move, so I went and got it probably fine. But went and picked up my first eggs from a local guy. I think I got 60 or 70 from him. Put them in the incubator. That really difficult hatch, um, and just because of the chasing the humidity and heat all the time
Hmm.
in those little incubators, was probably the majority of my issues. And then what did hatch was I found out when they started laying their eggs, and my own eggs weren't fertile, and they wouldn't be, and they I was just really struggling. Like less than 10% hatch rate. It was bad. I'm like,
Oh no.
I don't know if I
Oh,
can do this. And so I reached out to Leah, and thankfully she picked up the phone and answered me, and uh, sent her some pictures, and boy, it was like, yeah, here's your problem. It's confirmation. And I was like, what is confirmation? And yeah, there's a picture of one of my
yeah,
first
that's one
kids.
of them.
That's pretty bad.
So
That is
Leah,
pretty bad.
what did you tell Chuck when you saw this picture?
So there were multiple birds that had similar body shape to this one. So this one's got a really curved spine. And what can happen in this type of situation is that it can be hard for the boys to get down there to get the girls and get those eggs fertile.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what my problem was. It wasn't for the lack of trying. They were doing what they knew to do, but they just weren't getting home, and it was bad. And we said, you probably just process those bad boys and move on to something else. And at that point, I was like, I've got to start using reputable breeders that have good stock, that have done the work, and then I can go from there. So that was probably the single most difficult lesson, and that process took 2 or 3 months to figure out, here's your problem. And the time you order more eggs and get new eggs and grow them out, now I'm 3 months.
And pick your
I'm three
birds,
months
yeah.
into it and still
Well,
hadn't gotten anything.
at least you learned that lesson in 3 months.
Yeah, you learned it
Right.
quick. Many
Yeah.
That was
people,
just one,
it's
that
even
was
further
one
along
lesson.
than that.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was just one lesson. So yeah,
But yeah, again, you really quickly learned, you know what, I may have not made, a beginning purchase from the best breeder. And, could you have worked with that and tried to fix it and all that stuff? If you're stubborn like me, and like a good challenge, oh sure, yeah, I'll spend 10 years trying to fix a line. Why not?
yeah. Leah suggested. She did suggest you can fix that, and I was like, no, I can't.
Mm-mm.
Not at my level, I can't. And I
It'll
was
Yeah.
like,
take a
I
long
don't have the
time.
patience. So
Could
yeah,
you? Yes. Do you want to? No.
we
Yeah,
scrapped them.
that's a good
We
lesson to
scrapped
learn though. Where you get your birds from is really important, because not all people, select for conformation. Not all people select for temperament. Leah, were you fond of your first birds?
No. Not at all. For one thing, they were supposed to be jumbos, and I don't think a single one of them hit 10 ounces.
Uh-huh.
And they were murderous little heathens.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
couldn't handle them. They were wild. You just couldn't handle them, and then they started scalping everybody.
Yeah, mine were like that too. Mine were, and I was like, wow, this is the
And I almost
mortality
quit.
is going to be
I
bad.
almost quit.
Yeah.
And then I happened to hear, oh, there's people out there that breed for temperament. Okay, I'll try again. And that's where I
Yeah.
found you, Rebecca.
It doesn't have to
So,
be this way.
yeah.
And Chuck, when we were talking before we started the show, you mentioned that, bad hatch rates and, like what Leah's saying about aggressive birds, that can be really daunting for a newbie and make them just want to give up.
Yeah, I crossed that bridge a couple times where I was like, the scalping and the fighting, it was pretty bad. I didn't know much about rooster to hen ratio and just all those little things. I probably jumped in a little fast.
I think we
I,
all do, though.
I,
We're
I was so
excited.
Yeah.
ready. I was so
Yeah, we're
ready.
excited. Ready to go.
And then they hatch, and you spend, you have your first hatch, and I think we talked about it earlier. You spend all the time, you know, when you should be working on other things, you're spending time trying to help quail that, has splay leg and, bad feet. And it's just typically all has to do with the incubator that you're using. There's absolutely nothing wrong with my farm innovators. I still have it. I still use it from time to time. Uh, but there's equipment out there that make your job a lot easier, and they improve your hatch rates and the viability of the chicks
Mhm.
without you having to chase things around all the time. So
Well,
I
you had
spent I spent a
mentioned,
lot of time. I spent a lot of time trying to save every poor little sick chick,
yep,
and I had a bunch of them.
yep. I
Been there, done
totally get
that.
it. Yep. Um, you had mentioned that you did all that, trying to save and the shot glasses and all that stuff, and then as soon as you ended up getting a hatching time cabinet incubator, all that went away.
Yes, yes. I love my hatching time incubator. I do have a GQF as well.
Hmm.
Um, uh, in the summertime, I really like my GQF because it kind of does its thing. And but the hatching time with the computer that monitors and updates the humidity for you and heat, it's kind of like a set it and forget it. You come back in
Yep.
2 weeks and bang, you hear chirping. And the one thing I did learn about that is I bought way too small the first time.
Yep.
I bought a CT60. I thought it was enough. One incubation in, I was like, wow, this is not enough. It's not big enough.
Yep.
So yeah,
Well, it's
definitely buy one
hard.
size bigger than you think you should get.
Yeah, it's hard because, here on the show we preach like don't go too fast. So many
Yes.
people will start out and you want to buy all the things, and they're
Right.
buying up hundreds of cages and all the stuff, and then they don't have the customer base that is
Right.
already established to pay for all of that. But sometimes it's the other way, where you haven't invested well enough. So if you've got your farm innovators and you're getting a 10% hatch, and of those that hatch, you're having to, uh, tape feet and use shot glasses and stuff like that. There's
There you go. There you go.
there's
One of my
Leah's.
first ones.
Yep. So if you do that, gosh, how much time and money are you wasting when you can get a higher quality incubator and then be able to hatch 95%, not spend the time fixing stuff, and be able to sell those birds or their eggs or whatever?
And then
You
make the
know,
money back.
yeah,
Right.
after
Right.
very quickly it pays for itself. It's
I
a, it's
was
a good
very I
investment.
was very conscientious about when I first started it. I have a chief financial officer, which is my wife, and I was very conscientious about not overspending, not getting too far out ahead of my skis. And I mean, I was making my first 2 cages. I made them. I found some plans off the internet. I made my first 2 cages, and I still use them, but probably spent more time pulling old nails and screws out of them so I could build the cages. If I could recycle something, I wished I had a picture of it. One of my very first cages that I built from the modular racking that goes inside of closets,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the white. I cut that down and I zip tied and made walls and doors, and boy, I was proud of it. I've never put a bird in it, but I still have it. That was going to be my hospital after all the scalping started, but I never put a bird in it. But yeah, that's one of the biggest challenges you face, especially getting started in the breeding industry, is you want to be careful. There's a kind of a fine line. You want to be careful not to get, you don't have the clientele and you don't have the customer base. So you gotta walk that fine line between putting too much money into it and then not enough.
Mhm.
There are things like an incubator. You need to spend the money to get the good stuff, and
Yep.
Yeah.
but there's kind of a fine line you have to walk.
Yep. The other thing that you really have to spend the money on, I firmly believe you cannot skimp on feed.
Exactly.
Agreed.
Learned
Yeah.
that too. Learned that
Yep.
too. When I first started, I was, there's nothing wrong with co-op feed for chickens and stuff, but barnyard chickens or whatever. But if you want to raise a good, viable quail
Mhm.
that's healthy, that protein, especially in the early stages, really makes a difference. I started trying to feed the co-op feed, and it wasn't working. My
Yep.
chicks were small. Then I was trying to use layer feed, chicken layer feed. Um, then got into mixing my feed a little bit to try to get the calcium and protein where I needed it to be, and then I found out there's stuff out there that they do that for you. So
Yeah, it makes life
Right.
easier.
yes, it does.
Yeah, one of the big things that I see along the lines of feed are people that are wanting to, give all kinds of treats and, veggies from the garden and, cut grass and all this stuff, especially when they're giving it to little baby chicks. Quail
Mhm.
have really specific nutrient requirements, and a lot of times the feed that you are buying at the grocery store, or not the grocery store, the Tractor Supply or the co-op, is while it's labeled as a game bird feed or a quail feed or whatever, it's still lacking. And then when you start adding in, grass cuttings and dandelion leaves and whatever, and you're making that 50% of their diet, then that, can get things even more diluted and wonky nutrition
Right,
wise. So,
right,
you know, I'm not saying don't give treats. I'm saying
Give them in
that
moderation.
yes,
right,
just like us,
right,
moderation.
right.
So,
Yeah,
so
I tried the Tractor Supply feed for a while, and it served its purpose. But as I learned a little bit more about it and tried some different stuff, I learned that the Tractor Supply feed might not be exactly what I want it to be. It had a lot of molasses in it, and you could really tell the stink and everything was different, and they just seemed healthier on a different feed. So
mhm. Yeah, there was a big difference in the odor when I switched
yes,
from Purina to Kalmbach.
yep, yep,
I
Definitely.
mean, like, huge difference. Yeah.
yeah,
And not everybody has access to Kalmbach or, some other quality feeds, so sometimes you have to make do with what you have. But it's important that if you are feeding something that might not be quite exactly what they need, to make sure you're not giving them a whole bunch of extras that might also dilute, you know, the
right,
Throw off the
nutrition. Yeah,
ratios. Yeah.
right.
exactly. Exactly. Um, so I'm gonna back up just a second because I realized I didn't get a chance to share this. When we were talking about building cages, um, this was my first quail cage, and it's beautiful.
You've come a long way, Rebecca.
Yes, I will say so. I did not build this. Frank did, and it was Frank is always so wonderful in like, hey, I want to have this, crazy new thing. Okay, I'll build you a cage. I'll build you what like he just signed me up. I'm just gonna go ahead and build this. Yeah, I'm gonna bring home an emu. Great. I will extend the fences to 8 feet. Perfect. Like he just does it. Um, but this cage here, let's talk about all the things that are wrong with it. So,
I don't see
And
much wrong with it at all. I would use it.
so
I'd
okay,
have been happy with that.
first of all, I couldn't understand why I kept finding birds that had unalived themselves.
yeah,
And
that's the biggest thing I would say about this one.
yep,
Even though it's a beautiful cage.
it's gorgeous,
Yeah.
gorgeous cage. They would fly up and whack their heads on the underside of that beautiful wooden roof because it was too tall. And as we talked about in our cage episode, you really want to be like 8 to 10 inches, no more than 12, or over 6 feet. And this was right at the wrong height.
Right.
So I have to tell you something too. The only way to access this cage was through that top section. Now
Oh, wow.
there
Okay.
was
I saw that.
a door on the little nest box area, but they like to lay their eggs out where you can see them right now. Well, that thing was so high.
Where's the stool at? You don't have a stool that I can see in the
Do you
picture.
know what I had to do to collect eggs? I had to get a spatula, or not a spatula, a soup ladle, and put it on a
Scoop them up.
stick, like zip tied it to a stick so I could scoop the eggs up because I couldn't reach them where they were. Um, which also means I couldn't reach the birds. So once they got in there, they're like, there you go. And I would have to scare them into the nest box at the end and like try to close it off so I could get the birds out.
Brilliant.
Absolutely. The
Do
other
you
thing
still
that we
have
didn't,
that? Do you still have that cage?
it is unoccupied, but it is still sitting in that pen. Yeah. It's so
Okay.
big and heavy. We haven't removed it. We probably just need to burn it. um,
I'd put
You
some
could make it
shelves.
into a new
Put it.
snake enclosure.
yeah, there we go.
You could do that. Put some shelves in it and put a couple different doors on the front, and there you go. You got yourself a stack cage.
Yeah, that's okay. I've moved on. I'm okay to say goodbye
I,
to this now. The other thing is it is nicely enclosed on three sides to protect them from wind and rain. However, we didn't think about the fact that that particular direction that the hardware cloth is on is exactly the direction the wind and rain comes from. So yeah.
That
And
could be a problem.
look at me putting the branch in there as if they were like roosting birds.
Right,
well,
right.
I learned that about Copernicus. They don't like the brand. My Bob Whites love it. They're
Oh,
all
they
over.
love it a lot. Yeah.
The Bob Whites are all over it. But I'm like, why are those Copernicus not getting up on my limbs that I put in there? So,
Yeah,
it
no,
took me a
they
little bit
don't.
to figure that one out.
They don't do that. And the water container that I used, I couldn't reach either. So I had to use my ladle to get the water container.
Oh my
Were
god.
those your very first birds too in there?
Those were the very first bird. Well, actually,
Very
no.
first.
These are my second set of birds that I ordered off a random person on eBay because they were pretty. My very first birds came from one of my chicken breeder friends, who said, "Hey, I'm getting out of quail. Do you want these?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure,
Heck yeah.
yeah." And then I learned that they were all just regular. They were like jumbo brown or something. And then I learned that they came in colors. And so I jumped on eBay and I just bought random birds. And I was just looking at some of these pictures. Look at the gorgeous beak on that bird.
I had some real ugly ones in the beginning.
Look at the underbite. this is this is I
Wow.
was so proud. Leah, speaking of your birds, I think this was one of your pictures, right?
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
Got a lovely mug.
And look where we are today. Okay. We'll get back on task. I kind of digressed there for a minute. How about as a newbie, I was not prepared for things. We just had a major huge ice storm. Mason and I talked about it last week. All the prepping that I did for that to make sure that my birds were going to be okay. I'll tell you what. When I first started out, that wasn't going to happen. I knew nothing. I wasn't prepared for anything.
Right. For me, I think I was right in the middle of incubation, and we had a pretty bad rainstorm, thunder, lightning, the whole 9 yards. We lost power, and I was like, my eyes got big, and my wife's like, "What's wrong?" Is like, "We have no power. I have, 100 eggs in my incubator. I've got to go to the parts store." And she's like, "What are you doing at the park?" I was like, "I got to buy a power inverter, something I can run an extension cord at least." Of course now I'm prepared, but I wasn't then, and I should have been.
It's little things you don't really think about that
Exactly.
all of a sudden you have
Like
to
you said,
think
never
about.
going to happen to me. And then it starts clouding up, and the next thing you know, you don't have power, and you're panicking.
It's a learning curve.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. But you're prepared now, and that's not a problem.
I still don't have a generator yet, but maybe one day soon.
Yeah.
Maybe one day I'll have a generator. I still use the power inverter. I've actually used it probably a couple of times since that first time. So I got it down to a science now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's good.
Leah, you've never lost power, have you?
I can't even count on my hands how many times we've lost power.
Yeah. And each time is a learning experience and you improve each time, do things a little better next time.
Yep.
It's
And
every day.
yeah.
It's every day.
Yeah,
And
there's
I think the
constantly
biggest
something new
thing,
coming up.
Yep.
yeah, I think the biggest thing is, having the uh, ability to have a connection or a mentor that you can reach out. You know, my mentor is kind of Leah. We
Hmm.
connected uh, probably a year or so ago, or almost a year or so ago, and she had you, and everybody's got somebody to lean on. And I hope, for my customers, I can do the same thing. Right now. Um, I can answer phone calls and I can answer questions about hatches and what do I do, or hey, I got this, or getting pictures all times of the night. I can help the best that right now I can, and I enjoy that part of the customer satisfaction and customer care. But we all need, especially getting into a business like this, we all need those mentors. Like I said, for me it was Leah, and I lean on her still every day. And now I've gotten to know you a lot more, so I'll probably be bugging you a little bit more.
Anytime.
Maybe Leah a little bit less, but yeah, that's important. That's a good community of friends and mentors is definitely the way to go. You can straighten the learning curve out really quick if you got somebody there to help.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely. I know I
And
wouldn't be where I am even today. I probably would have gave up without the people that surround me that help support me.
yep.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. I was fortunate enough. Leah had me down. Uh, was it December, I think, for the
Yep.
weekend, and boy, I asked a lot of questions, and we did a little bit of work. I told her we was going to do a lot of work, but ended up
We
not
were
being a
just
lot of
talking
work.
too much.
A lot of work and a lot of talking and questions, and she has a great setup. I learned so much. I could have stayed another 2 or 3 days, but I know that she was ready for me to go home. But I really
No, we had a
enjoyed
good time.
myself. I enjoy myself so much, and I hope I can get up there and see you, Rebecca, here pretty soon. But
Absolutely. That'd be
just
fun.
kind of being able to benchmark and learn. And I watched her sort birds. I watched her pick eggs to ship, and it was a good experience for me.
Yeah. Um, everybody needs that. I was really excited to visit Southwest Game Birds when Michael was still open. That was, I mean, it was like hanging out with a celebrity. I was
Yeah,
just like in awe.
yeah,
And it's really helpful to see how different people do things.
yeah,
Um,
It
they may
is
be
so much.
yeah, they may be doing something that is, something you never even thought of going that solves a problem immediately. Um, and for me, one thing that has been very helpful in, my mentors, Michael Rose, as well. I've had others, Tamara Rousel, Katie Agali, Martin Yardley, quite a few. Um, it's helpful when they tell me that they've made mistakes too.
yeah.
Like
Yep.
nothing makes me feel better as a breeder than having Michael tell me about one of the mistakes that he made. And I'm like, if
Right.
Michael make a mistake, then I guess it's okay if I make a mistake.
Yeah,
And it's helpful
yeah.
because
I had the opportunity to meet Michael. We've talked a couple times since then, but super nice guy. I
yeah,
mean, we could roll right into our genetics part now, but great guy, uh, full of information. I hope one day I can get to where he's at, but I've learned a ton from him so far.
mhm.
Uh, and I remember the first time Michael ever commented on one of my posts. I was like, Michael, that's Michael Rose. I was telling my wife, same thing with you guys. Y'all comment on something, or Rebecca Lynch at Thieving on Her Farms just commented on my post. And just, I mean, I felt like okay, maybe I'm moving up a little bit and doing things right, because just like I said, those mentors and people that are there for you to say, "Hey, I made those mistakes too. Here's how you fix it,"
Yeah,
and it just means the world.
it really does. It really does. And, the big thing, like you mentioned, Chuck, is paying it forward.
Yeah.
That's what we try to do every time we make one of these
Yep.
shows or answer a question on Facebook. We're trying to pay it forward. I absolutely would not be here without the patience and kindness of the people that answered my questions
Right.
in those
Yeah.
3-hour conversations with Michael.
Yeah. He probably thinks I'm an idiot for the questions I ask, but
No,
yeah,
no.
he is so patient, and I'm like, what now? What? And bless his heart, he don't know he's talking over your head, but it's just
I
right
know.
over.
There are
But
times when
yeah,
he'll tell
he's
me something and I just go silent. He's like, "Are you still there?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm busy blinking." I'm just like,
yeah.
hold
I'm
on,
taking notes.
processing the little spinner, the
Yeah, I'm
wheel
taking notes. I'm
buffering.
taking notes. I'm taking notes. I'm not ignoring you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I need to
I like
process that for
Michael
a
a lot.
second, Michael.
Have to compute. Yeah.
Yeah, I like Michael. I had the opportunity to meet him. I just recently met Mason. Uh,
Oh, I love Mason.
he's your guy, Rebecca. He's. We had a long talk. That kid has got it going on, and
He sure does.
he's gonna do big things. I mean, I'm just it's exciting to watch, especially somebody being so young.
Yeah.
He's got everything ahead of him, and I started late at this, but Mason, he's sharp as a tack.
Mhm.
He's doing everything right, as far as
Absolutely.
I
His
can tell.
parents have to be so proud.
You
So
Yeah.
proud.
dang
I'm
right.
proud, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he is incredibly smart, incredibly responsible. He has a huge heart. Yeah, I
He's like an
adore Mason.
adult. It's hard to remember that he's
It
only
is.
Yeah,
what
I have to
17 or 18 years
remember that
old.
18.
sometimes
Yeah.
too when I'm
Yeah,
talking to him.
he talks like an adult. He acts like an adult. He's respectful. I mean, just a good all around kid.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I think we're trading some eggs here coming up as soon as he thaws out a little bit. So he has some stuff that I want, and I've got some stuff that he wants. So we're
Yep.
gonna trade around a little bit.
We do a lot of that.
I love it.
Yeah, he's fantastic, and I hope that here pretty soon he's going to be graduating high school and maybe going to college or I don't really know what his plans are, but I hope he doesn't leave the quail community.
Me
Um,
too.
he's at
He's
that age where he may do something else, and that would break
yeah.
my heart because he has so much talent.
Yeah, I think he knows it though. I think he's had enough people around him say, "Hey, you're good at this. You need to give it a fair shot."
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say he's a better breeder than 90% of the people out there right now.
I know he
So,
is me. I
yeah,
know he is me.
he's
Yeah, he's interesting to talk to. He's sharp as a tack. I don't know
yep.
what I can say about the kid. He's got it going on, but he had a good teacher. So
Yeah.
that would be you, Rebecca.
I still remember him as a 15-year-old boy coming here with his mom to pick out his quail. So we
That's
talked about that in the
crazy.
last show.
That's crazy.
He's grown a lot. He's grown really tall since
Yeah,
then.
that's crazy.
But okay, so what about, we kind of briefly talked about our crazy beaks and our hunchbacks. Let's talk about confirmation.
Yeah.
And that, we kind of touched on it a little bit, but I think we could go a deeper dive.
I am getting better at confirmation thanks to Leah. The time I spent with her, we talked a lot about confirmation and, checking bones and feel this and feel that. And, I learned a lot about confirmation. Now I feel like I know what I'm looking for when I pick up a bird. I can tell a lot just by how it feels in my hand.
Yeah.
Um, and now I can take one and check things and breed for things that I want. Whether it's space between the hips or you want all those things that I never had a clue were important. I just thought it was a bird that laid an egg and you could eat
Yeah.
it, and it's way deeper than that. The genetics, the confirmation and the genetics is still confusing to me. Um, I'm studying as hard as I can, but that's probably that's probably where I'm weakest at right now, and I know it. The genetics is something that I'm having to learn kind of on the fly, but the confirmation is easy to do if you just take the time and learn about the confirmation and what you're feeling for when you pick up a bird. And boy, it's way more in depth than I thought it was going to be.
Hmm. Yeah, and as far as the genetics go, I'll let you in on a little secret. We're still learning too.
Yeah,
Every single day. I actually
Yeah,
pulled
yeah.
one out today. I showed Rebecca, and I'm gonna try to recreate. So we'll see.
yeah.
Well,
It's interesting because, quail genetics haven't really been studied in depth.
Mm-mm.
that's crazy
And
to me.
There's
yeah,
so much we do not know. I mean, they didn't really become popular until the last what 6, 7 years,
yeah.
like
Yeah,
really
And
popular.
there's all these new genes that have popped up or that have been floating around that just nobody has bothered to study. And so, that's cool that we get to be in this time where it's still being studied. So don't feel bad that that you don't know it all in genetics, because neither do we. We're
yeah.
still
It
learning.
just
Every
it just
event,
takes time.
Yeah.
It
yeah,
really
every
does.
available tool out there, I'm studying it. I'm studying. I'm in it, um, and it's. I feel like I'm going back to high school. Sometimes there's so much to learn, and the guy that has a lot of it up there is Michael Rose,
Hmm.
and he's the guy that's willing to share and teach, and I'm thankful. I'm thankful that I know him.
Absolutely. And you're part of
Definitely.
quailology as well, right?
I am. I am.
Yeah.
I'm probably three-quarters of the way through it. I probably do it too much,
Oh, I love
but
it so
yeah,
I
much.
re-listen to things all the time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to
So
start. I've powered through it. I'm probably three-quarters of the way through it. I've probably filled up an entire legal pad of notes, and I'm probably still gonna go back through it again, maybe
Yeah.
again and again. But yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. I've
It
learned a
really
lot.
absolutely.
And I didn't
Uh
pay attention in biology class, so this is a tool, so I'm going to use it. I got no shame in saying,
I've always been a science nerd.
yeah, I've got no shame in admitting that I love the quailology program. I love I love how he teaches it. I just think it's good stuff, and it's a tool that's there for us to use. Whether I
yeah,
sucked at biology or not in school, it's there. I'm using it. So
absolutely. And when you were talking about confirmation and stuff, having a mentor that can talk to you about that, like Leah, putting a bird in your hand and saying, "This is what I'm looking for," that is beyond valuable.
yeah.
Absolutely beyond valuable.
There ain't no
That was
telling
one
how many
of my.
quail. There's no telling how many quail we flipped over that weekend.
Yeah.
Leah, you were
That was
like,
a lot. Yeah.
feel that bone, feel this bone. Yeah, you can't beat it. You can't
No.
beat it. You can't
Leah,
beat
what
it.
were
And
you going to say?
well, there wasn't really much out there for anything on confirmation until
Mm-mm.
recently. So,
Yeah.
You know
because I remember as a new
that old timey
person,
book you sent me. I haven't gotten it yet, but I've been reading
well,
it
and you know who
online.
told me about that book? Rebecca and Michael did.
Yeah, and it's like I,
It's a
I
good
I
book.
got it from you, and I'm like, this is from like 1890.
Yep.
I mean, the pictures are like horrible, but the book and the information is great information.
It
Yeah, but
is. It
it's
is.
an old one.
Are you pulling that one up, Rebecca?
Yeah, I'm going to put it in the banner so people can see it.
Call the hen. That's
So
it.
it's the call of the hen, and it talks about confirmation for egg production, and it does talk about chickens, but a lot of it can be, utilized in a way for quail.
Yep.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good book.
So, we're talking about colors and stuff, and a lot of people who jump into raising quail, there's kind of two different people. There's the people that get excited about colors like me,
I
and,
do.
they get excited about the genetics, or they just want to walk out and see pretty birds in their cubby, in their cage.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that at all. I
Well,
started out that way. Like, give me all the colors. Um, But there's also people that aren't interested in color. They want meat and eggs.
Right.
And I think it's important to say that genetics play a role in that too. That the
Yes.
conformation that we were talking about, if you don't have the correct body conformation to hold the weight of that big old meaty bird that you're wanting to raise, then it's not going to do as well for you.
Correct.
Um, it's not going to lay eggs as well, or it may pass early. So it's important to learn those things. You don't have
And
to
I
get
don't care.
overwhelmed.
Yeah, and I tell people all the time, like, I don't care like how pretty of a bird is, like
Yeah,
color wise, but if it can't do its job, like,
Right.
it's not worth anything to me.
it's still livestock. It
Hmm.
is, people sometimes, forget that, color isn't going to produce more eggs and put meat on your table.
And they all
Um,
taste the same.
yeah. And it is awesome to work with color, and you can have great big jumbo birds in whatever color you want, but it's really important to learn that conformation so you have birds that are built properly, and not like the first ones you got, Chuck,
Right.
that
Right.
had such a curved back that they couldn't reproduce.
Yeah.
So,
And I mean, when I first started, I wasn't thinking about things like, do I want an egg bird? Do I want a meat bird? Do I want to do a purpose bird?
sure.
You've got to select, if you're going to, you know, get your initial eggs from a breeder, you've got to select for what you're looking for.
Absolutely.
And it can take some
A lot
time
of my
to
customers
figure that
like that.
out.
They don't want anything but jumbo. They want a big meaty bird. I got people that want dual purpose birds. They want the best of everything: size, egg size, the whole 9 yards. So
Hmm.
there's definitely uh, there's definitely reason to pay attention to confirmation.
Yep, for
Definitely.
sure. um yeah. So, oh, the only other one that I can think of, unless you guys think of something that we've not talked about. Oh no, I found another one on my list. One would be opening the incubator while the chicks are hatching.
Guilty,
So, yep.
especially at first.
Oh yeah.
Especially at
I don't
first.
do it anymore,
Get it
but
out.
yeah.
I
I
don't
had my
either.
face pressed to the glass, watching
Yeah,
them hatch, and
the
as soon
little the
as they
little
were
hacking
out,
time, the
yeah,
hacking time hole.
That's the
yeah,
Yeah,
one
he's
thing
dry
that
enough.
irritates me is the tiny little like
Yeah,
yeah, the
submarine
porthole.
tank. Yeah.
yeah, they're bad. They're bad.
Yeah, I mean, I get why the hatching time incubators, the cabinet incubators have that. It is better insulating than
Right.
plexiglass and stuff like that. But for the people that want to watch them hatch, that's hard. But
Because
the
that
big
never gets old. It never
no,
gets
it
old.
it doesn't.
It's my favorite time. It's my
Yep.
favorite time.
But the big thing is, as soon as they hatch, I'm wanting to pull them out of that incubator, shrink wrapping all the rest of the chicks. I
Yeah,
didn't know any
yeah.
better.
I didn't either.
Um,
That was what
yeah.
that
Yeah,
was.
same.
I'm so guilty of that in the beginning. I'd look in there and hear, and then I'd cut the light on and I'm looking. Oh, it's just 5 or 6. They look dry enough.
Yep.
Let me get my brooder ready. I'm getting them out, and you get them out, and you don't, I'm shrink wrapping. In the beginning, I'm trying to help eggs that I have no business trying to help hatch.
Yep.
That's kind of their first only the strong survive moment, and we're pulling them out, and 9 times out of 10, they're going to have curled feet. Something's going to be wrong with them, but yet here we are, as humans trying to help our little guys out, help our friends. And uh, just, I learned that I shrink wrap. There ain't no telling how many I shrink wrapped. Just
Yep.
couldn't wait. I got to get them out now.
And we didn't realize that we wouldn't have to help so many had we not shrink wrapped them.
Right.
Yep.
So
Right.
we did that ourselves.
Yes.
You know.
Why is this yoke stuck to this chick?
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess maybe it's good that there's those portholes in hatching time, so you can't see very well because you're less
Now I
likely to
just I
help.
just keep going. They can
Yep.
tweet and chirp all they want. I'm not opening it until I think they're done.
I have an app, and it tells me when they're due to hatch, and I open the incubator the following day,
Yeah.
and late in the evening, and I pull them. But the other mistake that I used to do a whole lot, I used to candle my eggs all the time.
I quit that
Yeah.
too. I quit that too.
I just stopped doing that. The only thing like
I'll do it at lockdown briefly. I mean, I finally got the green laser, and I'm quick, and that's the only time I do it. If I pull one, is one that's glowing like a Christmas tree, white, and
Yep.
I pull it and I'm out of there. It's really, I can do it just about as fast as if I wasn't candling. But all that day 7, day 12,
Every day.
every single day I'm going to pull them out and candle them.
And I
I
will
used
say
to. I used to.
the one thing, and I I don't know why this is such a pet peeve of mine, but I cringe every single time I see it. You'd think I'd be over it by now with all the Facebook posts that I've seen, but the candlers on top of the
Upside down.
incubators where you have to
that
turn the
makes
egg
me
upside
crazy.
down.
Crazy.
I'm just going,
Yep.
no, stop. So yeah, I think it would be cool to do a test.
Yeah.
We have our
Are we
experiments.
going to do an experiment?
I think we should do an experiment on the effects of flipping eggs upside down to candle them. Maybe
Okay.
maybe we'll prove that I shouldn't be so uptight about that, and it'll save me some
And then we'll be like,
therapy.
oh, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
What about forgetting to turn your egg turner on?
Oh yeah. Or
I've done that.
I'll tell you what
I still do that. So.
I'll tell you what I did last week. Here's a mistake from, a seasoned veteran of hatching. I didn't take my eggs move them from the incubator to the hatcher. So
Done that too.
they hatched in the incubator, and I was like, why is my incubator chirping? Open it up. There's splay legs everywhere because they're on the slick floor. It's like, oh gosh. I actually moved all but one tray. And me, ADHD, got distracted and didn't move the last tray. Yep.
We told me about the little pro tip about resting your eggs in the running incubator, and that was the first time I left my turner off, because I put them in there, fired up that incubator. Well, it was ready. I mean, I already had it heated up. Went and got my eggs, and I'm like, I'm going to use Leah's pro tip. And I jammed those babies in there, and about day 13 or 14, I realized, oh, it's time to lock these things down, and I never turned on the turner. And I think I had like a hatch rate of 20% or something. And I was like,
it's crazy how much it affects it.
It does.
It really is. I've done that a couple of times. In the hatching time that I have, you have to get the trays straight in order to remove them and to load them. And sometimes I'll forget to hit that one little button, so they start tilting. And it's a huge difference in not only the hatch rate, but the defects.
Yes.
So for the people that say, oh, the hen doesn't turn the eggs, first of all, they do.
They do.
They do all the time. But it makes a difference. It really does.
No doubt. I still use the pro tip, but now I'm plugging my turners in.
Yeah, I guarantee I'm still going to make that mistake again. Just as I will still probably at some point
forget. The
forget
biggest one
to move
I
my
noticed
chicks.
when I had forgot to turn is the chicks hatching on the wrong side of the egg and getting stuck.
And I've seen that too. I've seen that too. I hatched a bunch of bob whites one time. Incubator was full, and I still had 100 eggs that I needed to put in. And so I just cut me a piece of drawer liner and stuck it in the bottom and laid all my eggs out in the bottom. And I said, well, we'll just see what happens. Mm-hmm. And I actually I would turn them by hand twice a day. In the morning before work, I would reach my hand in there and roll them. And then I would turn them when I came home, when I was feeding up and everything. And I opened that thing on hatch day, and there were bob white chicks jumping out onto the floor. They were everywhere. I could not believe that worked. And it may work a little bit better for the game bird Bob white quail. They may be a little bit hardier, I guess, maybe in the egg. But I didn't think it was going to work, but it worked. I had chicks everywhere. I was not prepared to open the door.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
It also helped. That was a cabinet incubator, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
that does make a big difference when hand turning because they can get back up to temp really quickly.
Yep.
Where sometimes those little tabletop incubators, when you open them, gosh, they can take quite a while to get back up to temperature.
Now
Right.
I wasn't in there long, and I wasn't
Yeah.
rotating them by hand with the
Yep.
X.
You're just running your hand over them.
I was just,
Yep.
just sliding them around, and then they'd all be in the back, and I'd come in the afternoon, and I'd reach in and pull them all to the front,
There
and
you go.
it worked. It worked.
It
So
worked.
I was amazed at that one, but I thought for sure it was not going to be; those weren't going to do very well, but they did great.
It's
That's
all
good.
part of the learning experience.
Yeah, and Mother Nature's not perfect. The temperature gets weird, the hens
I mean,
get
look
weird.
what she did to us last week
Yeah,
Oh my
with all the
I
gosh.
mean,
cold.
so those things are pretty. They're pretty, resilient. It doesn't take much, but it doesn't take much to mess them up either. So,
Right. Well, a lot of people again will say, "Well, the hen, whatever," and I'm like, I how often have you like seen a broody hen? We get chicken hens out here that go broody, duck hens, even our emus are broody right now. Um, they generally have pretty crap hatch rates. I don't know
right,
about your experience, but
yeah,
yeah, I want to do better than that.
yeah. We're you know
Yeah.
we're setting our incubators and we're setting our temperature and humidity at what science is calling the optimal temperature.
Yep.
Mother Nature is nowhere near that.
No.
Nowhere near that. But we can improve our hatch rates by chasing those optimal temperatures and
Yeah.
humidity. We can improve them 10 times better than Mother Nature can do on her own. So
Yep. Leah, you've changed your like hatching humidity and stuff, haven't you?
I was going
The
to ask that
the
question.
amount the humidity levels that you've incubated and hatched at? I know I have. I've
So
learned new
yeah, I
things.
have, and like because we're in Florida, I
Oh
dry
yeah.
hatch. But
That's
yeah,
right.
but when it's cold like it is now and we have no humidity, I've actually had to add water. But yeah, like I'm usually running around 35 to 40 for like incubation and then like 55 for lockdown.
Yeah. I know when I first started, I was like 80% at lockdown. They need lots of humidity. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
We're
I was
you're
just running
drowning.
6.
75% the whole way through.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually do my Bob Whites like that. I have on a couple hatches, set it at 53 and just leave it
Yeah.
the whole entire time. And they did well. It may not be optimal, but I had somebody tell me 53 and you could just let her roll. And that's what I did. And it worked.
Hey,
Uh,
it's working.
It's good to know.
uh, and I think I did hear that y'all lowered y'all's, humidity down a little bit.
Mhm.
And I think my last two hatches, I don't think I was at 50. I think I would. I'm usually a 65 guy, like by the book.
Yeah.
But I think I did play around with like 58 to 60, somewhere in there. And I just didn't know the reasoning behind it. I just heard you guys say it. So I did it.
Cool. And did you have any difference?
Oh, no, no, no. I had a good hatch. But what I want to ask you is I heard the number, but I don't think I heard y'all say why you've lowered your
Because
humidity.
Michael said so.
Oh,
I've
okay.
done it. I
He
have a
forgot to tell
reason.
me. He forgot to tell me.
I have a reason.
Okay.
Well, because naturally the chicks are going to increase the humidity as they hatch.
Hmm.
So I wanted a lower base point as they started hatching because they're going to increase that humidity themselves. So that gives some more wiggle room so that they don't get like waterlogged.
Yep. If there's
I
too
got you.
much humidity, the shell membrane can get sticky and
Right.
can actually trap them in the shell or flat out drown them. So yeah, Leah brings up a good point, especially with the little tabletop incubators. if you're starting out already at 65 or 70%, and then they start hatching and the moisture from inside that shell and their respirations, they're going to shoot that humidity up really fast.
That's a good
Super
point.
fast. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
And I mean, if
Good
you ever
call.
think of like, if, I mean, I don't notice that as much, but when you're in a really humid, wet environment, it's not as easy to breathe in
Yeah.
that. So,
Right. Right.
That's true. The
That
other
makes
thing
sense.
that I found was at, I've kind of bumped it up just a little bit. I'm usually around like 58. And I find the chicks dry a whole lot faster.
they
I
do.
Yeah.
They're
They
not
really do.
sticky. They're up and running. I pull those trays out and they're like, hi, I'm not having to wait for them to dry off. They're just ready to go. So,
Right. Right. I've actually lowered my humidity once I thought they were all pretty much hatched
mhm.
for, you know, like an afternoon or a day like I'm at work. I'll bump, if I was at 60 or 65, I'll bump it down to 50 or 55. And when I come home, they're ready to go, just like you said. They're dried out. And boy, those farm innovators, would start sweating on the inside of the
Oh my
glass and you
gosh.
can't see
Yes.
anything. There's
I've
water
seen that,
dripping down.
yeah, on a lot of the tabletops.
They just don't get dry. They just do
No.
not
Mm-mm.
get dry. So, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. All the things. I mean, those little, entry level incubators, they serve a purpose,
absolutely.
Um,
Definitely.
but like you said, sometimes it can be really disheartening when you don't have a good hatch or, chicks are hatched with problems and stuff like that. So, especially when you have to explain that to children who are really excited about a whole batch of chicks.
That's right. That's right.
So, okay, I'm going to switch gears again because I am ADHD.
That's
Um,
right. And you're
the
Rebecca.
And I'm Rebecca. Yeah. Ask Frank about living with me. Oh boy. Okay. So the other thing that I was really bad about at first was submitting photos in the genetics group for color ID.
Yeah,
I
I won't do
had
that.
the worst photos ever. Like, you know, hi, can you please tell me what this is? And they're like, well,
Right.
we have to actually see the bird. Thanks.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't post in those groups, but I'll just send the pictures to Leah. What is this?
Oh
If you
gosh.
could have heard our conversation last night, you'd have thought it was hilarious. And I'm
It
still
was
not.
a good one.
I'm still not
You'll get
straight
it.
on
You'll
it.
get it.
It's going to require a second call.
That's okay.
I know I did all the things wrong. I would, take a picture at, sunset or, thinking, "Oh, it's so pretty with the orange light from the sunset," and then ask people to try to tell me what the bird is.
Right.
Or
You
you've
know,
got
Just
your
like,
whole
silhouette.
hand
oh
holding the
gosh.
bird, and
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
you can't even see
Yeah,
it.
my whole hand. Yep. All the things. Yeah, I did those. I did those.
It's just, yeah, it's all learning curves.
Yeah. Yeah, it totally is. Okay, I think that we've covered everything I wanted to cover. How about you guys?
Yep,
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we haven't done a coupon code in a while.
we need to.
I think we should do one. And in honor of Chuck joining us, I think we should do coupon code Chuck.
Yep.
Yes.
It's
So,
good on all three of our websites.
yeah.
So it's good for 10% off. So go check it out.
Guys, I've had a blast. It's everything I thought it would be and more.
It's been so fun. I'm glad that you
I'm
finally
glad you,
joined
were
us.
able to join us. It's been
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome.
it's
Let's
been
do it
great.
again. Let's do it again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're welcome anytime. All right, guys. Well, Leah, you're finally here again to say your
I
line.
know. Guys, please make sure to like and subscribe. It really helps us out. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to send it to a friend.
All right, guys. Well, you have a great night.
Bye.
See ya.